A little truth for today. During times of hardships, your faith is often weakened. Maybe it's because you're distracted by hurt or pain. Maybe it's because all you see are the things that are going wrong, and it's hard. It is so hard for your faith to be strong during that time. And then when your faith is weak, well, then you begin to feel guilty and you think, you're a bad Christian. But may I just remind you, when your faith is weak and you cannot stand on your faith, stand on His word. It is through His word that you will find the strength. You will find the encouragement. You will find the motivation to continue to trust Him in this situation. You see, the devil is so clever. He tries to cause this snowball effect that your faith is weak because you're hurt. Your faith is weak because you are discouraged. And when your faith is weak, then he tries to come in and separate you from God because he makes you think that you can't trust in God. And then if you can't trust in God, then you're a lousy Christian. And he begins to just come in on the attack. And so instead of focusing on your faith, focus on His word. Focus on Him. Focus on God. Focus on the truth of God. Because when you can't stand on faith, you can stand on truth. And it was the truth of God that revealed my faith in God. Often faith is just covered up by doubt during that time. And so truth allows you to expose that doubt, get rid of the doubt, and then you see your faith in God. And faith is a beautiful thing. But what's so wonderful about faith is it's not the size of your faith. And very often we put so much emphasis on the size of your faith and it has to be so big. But sisters and brothers, it's not the size of your faith. It's the size of your God. Remember, he tells us that you can have the faith the size of a mustard seed. A mustard seed is a tiny itty bitty seed, yet with that amount of faith, you can move mountains. So don't get caught up on focusing on your faith and being discouraged if your faith is weak. When I was going through my battle, my spiritual warfare, and I was feeling discouraged and was feeling hurt, and I'm not going to lie, I was suffering during that time, and there was questions, a lot of questions, and someone asked me, well, how was your faith so unmovable? How was your faith so solid? And I had to be so honest and say, but my faith is not what I stood on during that time, because my faith was weak. But I stood on truth, and truth enabled my faith to keep me going. So it's not about you. It's not about your faith. It's not about the size of faith you have. It's about your God and how good He is and how faithful He is. So sisters, don't get discouraged. If your faith is wavering right now and the devil's beating you up because your faith is lacking, it's okay. Take a deep breath and go back and just focus on your God. And get in the Word of God, because you can stand on the Word of God and in His promises. Romans 10:17 is such a powerful verse to cling on to during hardships when your faith is a little bit weak. It says, and faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So if your faith is weak, you need to grow it. You grow it by getting in the word of God. Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. That faith and that hearing is hearing the voice of God, and that's through His words, in His word. So today, don't get discouraged. Don't be disappointed in yourself. Quit beating yourself up and thinking you're supposed to be a super Christian and that you're supposed to have it all together and you're not supposed to have a bad day and you're not going to suffer. I wished I could tell you you wouldn't, but even the greatest Christian, the one that you admire so much, struggles with their faith. And in those times, that's when we get our eyes off of ourselves and what we have or don't have and get our eyes on God and see what he has, because it's in our weakness that he's made strong. So don't try to be a super Christian who has this great amount of faith. Look at your God and see what he can give you. He can give you the faith you need. I promise he is there to help you. And he will give you what you need in your times of hurting and distress and in your time of struggles. He's right there for you. And what this will do will build your faith and make you stronger for the next time. And what's so beautiful is faith is honestly one of those results and rewards of obedience. The more you obey him, the more your faith will grow. So when you're struggling and when you're going through times of questioning and doubt, get in that word of God, because that's your obedience. You're obeying the command that God has given you. Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So you get in that word of God, and guess what's going to happen? God's going to bless you for your obedience. So sisters, brothers, go spend time with him today. Go increase that faith that you're lacking, and I promise you will just come on the other side of that struggle, that battle, that depression, that warfare that you're going through, and you'll look back at the time at how sweet it was with Jesus, and nothing can replace that. That time that you spend with the Lord is such a treasure. And do you know that in the midst of suffering, and I know this sounds so crazy, but that struggle can result in some beautiful experiences if you allow it to. God gave me so many truths in the months of that time where I was just really honestly struggling spiritually. God gave me some wonderful truths, and he wants to do the same thing for you. Just go get in his word and spend time with him. Love you and have a blessed day.